As we were developing new museum exhibits, we were talking about how can we make sure that everyone in our community feels like they belong in our museum and in our spaces, as well as out in our community events, how we can make sure that all of the community feels like they belong in STEM. How can we make this part of what we're doing here in our space? We received a grant where we were able to start a process of working with our community to interweave culture and identity into our spaces. But really what got to the heart of it is when we did a community listening session. We invited in educators and people of various backgrounds who work in the local community here in Bloomington, but also in the Twin Cities and beyond. And we invited them into the space to talk about what they were looking for in community spaces, what made them feel good, what made them feel welcome, what made them feel like we were doing something positive for them and their families.
We all got together in a space and sat at tables, and we were asked questions to fill out words on Post-it notes. It was a lot about what did we need as adults from the community, or what did that look like? What did that mean for us?
I met Rupa at a community listening session. She was just so open and welcome, and she had so much energy to give. She was dancing up to the front of the room, sharing her thoughts and ideas in words, and she approached me and asked if we could do a poetry session together. I knew that she would be able to connect with people from all different backgrounds who speak many different languages and get them to share what makes them special and unique and how they fit into this space and what they're looking for in their hopes and dreams, which is so important to engineering and design and problem solving.
To see her in all the conversations that we had about poetry and how that relates back to engineering and seeing it come to life is really neat. And also to see how, as adults, what our words seem to align with what kids are looking for as well.
Art is an important part of who they are. It allows them to show who they are in so many different ways. There's not just one way of making art. Art is language, art is picture, art is dress, there's so many forms of art, and I would like for them to enjoy that. I also would like them to see the connection between art, science, and engineering. They're all working together towards the same thing. They're all part of the same community.
She introduced me to Adrian. He's really great with children and with families, and he was able to share with people how to draw, how to design, how to put this into the space in a visual representation, whereas Rupa really focused on the word aspect. And that's how we kind of got the balance of, okay, how can we go a little bit deeper at each of these events with people to really figure out what represents them, what represents our community, what represents culture and identity.
It eventually evolved into me going to different schools, having them draw and just think about how to communicate that through art, things that help them really identify self and think about culture.
This is for my culture. It's our way of dancing in our clothing. I'm half Japanese and half Nepali, so I have two different cultures that I'm showing here.
From each community event we worked with, they took those things, and some of that is actually used in our exhibit. Pictures on the magnetiles, it's the backdrop of the launcher, it's in some of the ideas behind the mural that Adrian created, and in the words that Rupa put into her poems. These are all the things that we gathered from the community. They took it, that step further and just made it cohesive and connected and beautiful and inviting into the space.
I look back at things that I learned early on, values that were instilled in me. A lot of those are based off of culture. I think it's just important to really come into self and just identify those things. It was great working with the kids. They just brought so much energy into it. Just does a lot for people's confidence. People don't want to be caught failing, and I feel like that's just part of the process. You have to fail and rework. That's science, that's art. You fail, start over again, fail, start over again. The kids really just brought such breadth of great ideas that it was just a fun experience. It's not a pass or fail thing. It's just getting your ideas out.
It passes on the message that science and community can go hand in hand. There can be so much collaboration, so much fun with it, and bringing back that art and creativity.
When you have places like the Works that really encourage it, lighting that fire inside them to think about science, think about art, think about yourself, what makes you unique, having them look inward and expressing what's there. I think we really need that.
We hope that as every child and adult and anyone who comes into our space looks around, they feel like they have a little piece of themselves in this museum. We feel like they connect with engineering and design and STEM just from seeing, oh, these drawings and these ideas and these thoughts are things that I'm passionate about or that I love or that I dream about, and they can maybe feel a little bit more like they belong.